This episode of The Trap Set is brought to you in part by Colectivo Coffee. Handmade coffee since 1993. Check them out online at colectivo.com.
This is Joe Wong. Welcome to The Trap Set, where each week we explore the lives of drummers. I want to play something for you. You're hearing Buildings, composed and performed by my guest, Amy Knoles. Born in Milwaukee, Amy was educated at CalArts in the late 70s, during one of that institution's most fertile, exciting periods. In a career that has spanned 4 decades, she's consistently pushed musical limits in an astoundingly wide variety of contexts. As director of the modern music ensemble California E.A.R unit, she traveled the world performing the work of living composers. As a composer, Amy has expanded the sonic palette of percussion and fearlessly championed the role of new technology. Respected in several musical circles, she's worked with everyone from the LA Philharmonic to John Luther Adams to Flea to Frank Zappa. I spoke to Amy at her home studio in the desert, where she's currently exploring new possibilities in modular synthesis and light manipulation. And now my conversation with Amy Knoles.
I got arrested for smashing a pumpkin. And we were chased by kids who sort of cornered us. And then the police came and took me home. And I went inside and said, "Mom, there's a cop outside. I just got arrested for smashing a pumpkin." And she started laughing, you know. I'm like, "No, you got to be serious. You know, there's a cop out there, you know." So she went out and pretended to be really upset. And then we went back in. And I think we had a beer and some, you know, pretzels.
That was how they were. Oh,
beer
that's
pretzels,
nice.
Yeah. Played some cards.
So your parents were pretty permissive?
My mom was. My father was just the opposite. But
Your father worked for the county?
yeah, he was the auditor of the county of Milwaukee. So kind of heavy accounting job.
And what did your mother do?
She was a stay-at-home. She did a lot of things. She actually worked in the locked wards of county institution for a while, doing arts and crafts. And then she worked in rehab in a hospital for a while and realized that she was becoming depressed. And it turned out because this was the sort of extended care section that
Right.
most of these people unfortunately never
We're
had a
getting
chance
better.
of recovering.
Yeah.
And so finally, you know, someone said to her, "You know, you really don't have to do this."
When you were in your rock bands, were you writing original material or covering songs?
Mostly covering. Yeah, in high school, it was kind of about going out and playing gigs for dances and things like that.
Did you make good money doing that?
No.
Okay.
You know, we did okay.
Yeah.
My dad would drive us around in his station wagon to these gigs.
Did you ever have aspirations of becoming a rock star and getting into rock bands, touring that way?
Well, you know, I did tour with some rock bands. But both bands, Toni Childs, I was in her band. We actually played on the Grammy. She was nominated Best New Artist the year Tracy Chapman won.
Okay.
So didn't stand a chance there.
Right.
But she was #1 in New Zealand and Australia. So we toured the entire country of Australia and did Greenpeace rock concert in New Zealand and toured all over Europe. And then I'd also toured with David and David throughout the U.S. and That was fun. But I remember.
But was that your primary goal, or were you more interested in like the legit world or new music?
Well, yeah, actually, I had to leave the Tony Childs tour for a little while to go play with the Philharmonic to do a contemporary piece. Because once I graduated from CalArts, I practically walked right into the LA Phil. Because they were just kind of starting their new music group, and none of the orchestra players wanted to play it. And CalArts had been having these huge festivals every year where we'd bring Kagel and Stockhausen, Carter, Reich, Warren, Andreessen, Globokar, Babbitt, all these guys. Yes. And 500 people would show up from the city of LA out to CalArts to see these concerts. And so the players got a reputation of being really skilled at contemporary music. So.
Were you exposed to that stuff while you were still in Milwaukee?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The ensemble To Be Consumed for the dance ensemble would write a little bit of our own music, but mostly play pieces by Jerome Kitsky, who's in New York, or Steve Reich for the dance company back then. And actually, I was in a group called Music from Almost Yesterday with Yehudi and I that he was running at the university with John Sherba from Kronos.
Nice.
Quartet. Yeah, it was hilarious. We ran into each other about 15 years later at CalArts during a festival, and he's kind of, whoa, hold it. Yeah, oh my God.
Well, walk me through how you finished up high school, and then you went to University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee for a little while, and then switched out or transferred to CalArts.
Yeah.
Walk me through that journey.
Well, I had, the really good musical, I guess you could call them musical inspiration. I had great musical inspiration from my directors, the orchestra director in high school, and the band director wouldn't let me be in jazz ensemble because I was a girl. And that really gave me the fuel I needed to fight, to really, you have to fight if you want to make it as an artist, and really believe in yourself. And so I went out to a summer music clinic and made it into the first jazz band. I mean, I practiced so hard before I went there, and tried to really develop as much as I could before I got there, and then ended up studying with Pavel Burda at the University of Wisconsin. He was an amazing timpanist from Prague and really taught technique. And he had gotten me on this festival in Taos, New Mexico. It was
when you were in high school?
No, actually 2 years into UWM.
Okay.
And it was a summer festival, so I went and met all these crazy artists in Taos, and they were all telling me about CalArts. Saying, you got to go there, it's really great, it's really cool. And I talked my dad into sending me there by that September for a year, and I said, just send me for 1 year, and I promise I'll get a scholarship, because it's an insanely expensive place, and UWM was like $250 a semester.
Yes.
And somehow I managed. I think they needed percussionists at the time, which is odd because it's usually been pretty, well attended by percussionists. And so I managed to make that happen. And
so you did get a scholarship for the second year.
Yeah. And so I met what ended up becoming the E.A.R unit there. We all played in the contemporary ensemble and worked with all those amazing composers, and decided, afterward, wow, we should just stay together. We went to the Holland Festival in the summer after everybody graduated and did 5 concerts in 5 cities, 5 different concerts, so like 25, just insane amount of music, and thought, hey, if we can do this, we probably should stick together, And 30 years later, we finally decided to retire the group.
You seem like somebody that has pretty strong self-control and focus. Have you always been that way?
No.
Okay. So can you tell me about some way?
Well,
some
we all go through things, and quite frankly, I mean, we lost several members of the E.A.R unit, and that was a really rough time. And I think, I was mean and angry, and some people said, "Hey, you better go see somebody, get that, work that shit out, because you're obviously depressed and you just don't have any clue."
Yeah.
So I mean, I think
and you were smart enough to take their advice.
It took a while, but because I'm very stubborn.
Yeah, and then also sometimes that 5-second rule just doesn't work.
Yeah.
Like if you actually do step in,
Oh.
drop your food in some shit.
Yeah,
you can't just eat it,
Might
right? Or
not
you'll get
want
sick.
to eat it. Yeah, but it's always better to probably eat your shit. And that's one thing I've learned. Fall on your sword as often as possible.
Why?
Well, then whoever is accusing you of whatever they're accusing you of has their balloon has been burst. They don't have anything to. The air is sucked out. They can't throw anything at you.
Well, what are some tools that you developed by going to therapy? Like, how did that help you get out of that rough spot?
Oh boy. Just sort of, don't hit send.
How do you develop that kind of restraint?
Keep that off the internet. Yeah, you just can't. I mean,
how do you learn how to
I don't Facebook that much.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
Because I would be this sort
It's
of
addictive.
person. Oh, it's addictive. Yeah.
I think we're totally wrong if we're telling ourselves that it's a tool that we have full control over.
Yeah, yeah. My colleague at a meeting yesterday, Wednesday, half the classes were canceled after we got the news about Trump, and some students were saying, "No, I'm too depressed, I can't come," or they're on their phones and they're like, turn the phone off, get in here, and let's just play some music. Get into this great place that we have, this sanctuary, and be together and just, gotta relax. Give yourself a couple hours anyway. Get away from social media, get away from the news, take care of yourself, for a little while.
When did you discover that you had a talent for kind of inspiring and mentoring younger artists or younger people?
When they asked me to come teach at CalArts 10 years ago. I had never really wanted to be a teacher. I just didn't think I'd be very good at it.
Why not?
I don't know.
Are you impatient?
I probably felt like I was too selfish.
Ah, okay.
I don't have any kids.
Did you ever want to have kids?
No. I was youngest child though too, so I think there's something there where you don't grow up with a younger child.
Right.
Yeah. Did you have siblings?
I'm the oldest of 5.
You're the oldest of 5.
Yeah.
Do you have kids?
I don't.
Do you want to have kids?
I think so.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
One of the things that I discuss with folks that do have kids on this show is kind of like how they realign their priorities after they have the kids and then stay as vital in whatever they're doing artistically.
Yeah. Yeah. It's got to be really tough because just the responsibility now of mentoring students at CalArts. There's I have 15 or 16 mentees, which is kind of a bit. You don't have 15 or 16 kids, but it's a lot, and it's important to really get to know each person and, stay in touch, especially now, and so that's, but it's good, it's really good to do that. And we were talking about it yesterday in a faculty meeting, and we're all really trying to help, our students, and some of our faculty members are going, I don't even know where I'm at yet, but I think it's
But
also
if you have to help
helpful.
someone else, then you can't focus on your own shit.
Exactly. But yeah, it's funny because I got called by CalArts to open a department on electronic percussion. So, and it's only 10 minutes from here, and I said, hell yeah, let me at it. So I was kind of on the fringe for a while. It was a half-time job, just pretty much teaching a couple of my classes. And then the dean called me in and asked me to teach fundamentals, music theory. And well, I was terrible at theory. Why me? Well, you're compassionate. Or we need someone that has compassion. And he sort of saw that. And I'm still teaching fundamentals because it's what it takes, to get inside people's heads and try and figure out what is it that you don't understand about this very essential core common practice in music.
Do you think that you're better at getting inside people's heads now?
Oh yeah. I've had to for 10 years, for about 8 years, really, really deal with some very interesting, complicated young people. And this is also quite often straight out of high school on their own for their first time. So, there's a lot happening in their world. And they take this class the first semester, and it's, they're kind of going, oh my God, where am I? CalArts is really tough for a young, very young person. Because it's very open-ended and free and creative, but you really need to have a clear vision in order to kind of navigate, or someone really helping you. That's why our mentoring program is pretty strong, pretty important one-on-one, because it's kind of mind-boggling. It's like being given a computer for the first time, and you're like, what can I do with this computer? Anything. So then you have to kind of narrow down what you want to do with it. So you have to get in, find out where they want to go, and really what they're seeing is the ultimate outcome. And for most of them, it changes drastically after the first year.
Yeah.
The Trap Set will always be available for free, but we rely on donations from our listeners. Please visit our website at thetrapset.net and click donate. Subscribe to our show on iTunes, and if you enjoy what you hear, give us a review.
How often does your trajectory change?
It just changes musically all the time. I call myself a minimalist.
What does that mean?
I don't know. No, it's just, I like reassembling things, taking, say this new Make Noise analog synth I have. It's just, I don't even know what's going to come out of it half the time when I stick a cable into, a jack. And so far I'm just sampling everything. One, so I kind of remember what I did, what it was, and then also so I can make it polyphonic and, play that sound that I just made and use that, and sort of that will take me into another direction, which takes me to another direction, to another direction, to another direction. And so I don't generally come to a piece with a preconceived notion.
For your process, you like throwing yourself into uncomfortable territory fairly regularly.
Oh, yeah.
It's not like just refining this one thing and getting more and more controlled. It's like embracing letting yourself get out of control.
Yeah. Well, and it takes you new places, This analog synth thing is just insane. It'll probably take me... It'll take years to fully... I'm not sure I'll ever fully have a mastery of it. But, hopefully I'll be able to understand most of what's going on with it in like a year or something.
Do you feel like there's anything missing from your life right now? Or are you at a place where you're happy with everything do you feel like it totally fulfilled?
No. I think I'd why would you want to live if there wasn't anything to pursue?
So what are you pursuing? Like on a larger level, not just the analog synth.
Yeah,
but like,
I know. I keep looking at the analog synth. Can we finish this interview so I can go play with it now?
Yeah.
Yeah. What am I pursuing? Life gets complicated when you get older, and I want to be a better chef. I love cooking. Better, I want to be. Yesterday I had a really great class, and I came home feeling like I could relax, Other things weren't so great in the day, and whatnot, but I felt good. And in order to continue to teach those classes, these are the electronic percussion classes, and that world is constantly changing, not just the controllers, but what we can control, the software, the synthesizer, the whole thing. That whole part of my life is a huge exploration, and so it really is what kind of drives me. And now it's more so that I can share it with my students and people around me. I'm doing this big tour of the East Coast in February. I'm going to Buffalo in February. And I am performing a piece, but the rest of the time I'm doing workshops and, sharing what I know. And, some places are like, well, we already spent our budget. I said, well, I don't want it. I don't need any money. I'm getting, I've got finally made full time at CalArts, and, I'm happy to just come and share what I know and see what happens, what they do with it. Years ago, I did workshops at Chino Prison, and it was amazing. I had a plastic Casio saxophone that was MIDI, and an inmate got a hold of it and started playing this electric guitar sound, and it blew me away what he was doing with it. And then someone else was playing a sound that was like a vibraphone, and he started crying, because it was just, shocking to him that he could make this beautiful sounds, in this kind of really tough environment. And, so watching that sort of stuff, I ended up sampling all these inmates saying slang and then converting it to MIDI, and it ended up being this full evening piece with the ear unit, and Doug Elkin's dance company came up from New York to choreograph it. So just by doing some workshops in a prison and watching the kind of experimentation and, joy and sadness and everything,
Well, I would bet
You
that
could teach.
the reason that you went into the prison wasn't like so that you could mine the experience for ideas per se. It was like just to be of service to people.
I needed the money.
Oh, okay. You're getting paid. Okay, gotcha. So you're not as
figured out-
altruistic as I thought.
Oh God, no. No, actually, I found out somehow that there were arts and corrections, and it's like, yeah, okay, that pays $250. I could. And the most shocking thing was rolling my big road case of stuff of synthesizers and whatnot through the yard alone. It's like they really will just let a woman walk through
Right.
an all-male prison by herself. And, there's definitely eyes on you, but you sure don't, guards' eyes, but there's also a lot of other eyes, and it's kind of interesting, but it really ended up being great. I did like 12 weeks there, and I ended up playing at Corcoran and Avenal, and, Robert and I did prisons. And,
Tell me about Robert.
oh,
Who's Robert?
Robert Black, the bass player, when we
Okay.
were touring. We'd mix in prisons with our tour of the West Coast. Started up at Evergreen State College and Portland University of Portland, and all the way down, and in between we're going to prisons, and Robert calls his mom going, "I'm in Alcatraz." But someone actually pointed up, was it Avenal? See that window up there? I go, yeah, that's Charles Manson is in
Wow.
that cell. It's like, yeah. But
He had some pretty cool jams
it was
back
great.
in the day.
The Erie Unit actually played at Chino, and we did Frederick Chevsky's Coming Together, which is written by he wrote it based on a poem of a prisoner at Attica that went missing during the uprising, and was murdered there, and we thought they'd really love it, and it was minimalist. They just hated it, and they didn't get it. And then we played Elliott Carter, and there were people crying, and they were silent, but it was just this. I think it was the flute, clarinet, violin, cello, piano, percussion, kind of the chamber music thing that just sort of was just so different than that constant chaos and noise. It was just really this beautiful, elegant music. Yeah.
How often do you cry?
I was crying this afternoon.
Because you were dreading me coming over here?
Yeah. No. It's a personal issue. But hey, life is still really amazing. And crying is good. I love, it's a great cathartic release. People should try it more often. If they do it too much, then you do need to see someone. But
What's enough? Like twice a week?
well, I would say twice a month is fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anything more than that?
See me in the morning.
Well, Amy Knowles, I think that's a great place to end it. Thank you so much for doing this.
My pleasure. Thanks, Jeff.
The Trap Set is produced by me, Joe Wong, along with Chris Karwowski, who also edits the program. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at The Trap Set, and visit our website, thetrapset.net, to subscribe to our show for free. If you enjoyed what you heard today, please donate to our show. If you can't afford to donate, please tell a friend and give us a good rating on iTunes. Send your feedback and guest requests to thetrapset@gmail.com.